Hi, I'm Larry London. Welcome to Border Crossings. Today, we are joined once again by a very lovely young lady who is a very talented young lady. She's a singer and a songwriter and has a new project out right now. Tiffany Woys is our guest here on Border Crossings. Nice to have you, Tiffany.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Welcome back. The last time you were here, it was before COVID. How did you get through COVID?
I did okay. I did a lot of cooking shows, which was interesting because I can't say that like cooking's at the top of my talented list, but hey, I got better at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
what
that's
they
good.
all like. Everyone kept on signing me up to do cooking shows. And I go, this is interesting, but you know what? It kept me busy. So that,
Mm.
that was good.
And are you cooking for one, or do you have someone else that you cook for as
Well,
well?
interestingly enough, at the time, it was with someone that I got engaged to, and that's
Right.
actually going to be about of a song that I'm going to perform for you guys. But
Mm.
we got engaged, and that was who I was cooking for. And no, I'm no longer engaged.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I mean, you were engaged 5 years to the same guy.
Yeah, well, not for 5 years. I wasn't engaged yet. So we got engaged, I think, in 2021. We had like two wedding dates. It was a whole heck of a mess, is
It
what it
was a
was, I think.
mess, a hot mess. Well, that's the
That's what we like
danger
to
that,
call it.
there's a danger in dating a songwriter because if it doesn't work out,
Mhm.
you could be the subject of a song. And I know that music is very therapeutic, and you have gone on record to say that this was therapeutic for you personally, the whole EP.
Yeah, it absolutely was because it's actually what kicked off me to even start songwriting. So when I was first with you and I met with you and I was on your show, I wasn't writing any of the songs I was recording. So I came to Nashville really unapologetic about the fact that I wanted to be an artist that was pitched songs because this is a community full of amazing songwriters who don't want to be artists. So I kind of wanted to be a vehicle for really good songs. Then life really slapped me in the face and it faced me into this place where I was like, I don't think anybody could write my story for me. I think I'm going to have to do it. So I'm very grateful in a sense that's pushed me in this direction where I actually felt like I had something to say. I think
Mhm.
before I felt like I didn't have anything really monumental to say, or maybe we think we've lived a lot of life, but we actually haven't. And I don't think I had yet. I don't think I'd gone through something enough for me to feel like I could take up space in the writing world. And now I feel like I feel comfortable taking up space because I have something really monumental to say.
And you're saying it on a new EP called I'm Your Woman, which is now out. Tiffany Woys is our guest. So, how has the production process changed for you since you wrote your own songs? I guess you get to do it on your own terms as opposed to having a producer say, I want more of this and less of this and things like
You
that.
know, it hasn't changed too much. And here's why. I really do believe that this career takes a village, it takes a team, especially people that you trust. I don't know anything about producing music. I know about now writing a song and getting on a stage and singing that. That's what I know I can bring to the table. I work with such amazing people that I trust in the producer world that I really think that we speak the same language now in the sense of what I envision. Now, when they send me comps back, I will then say, hey, I wish I could hear something more of this here or that there. But when we're in the room and we're kind of like in the studio, I let him do what he does because he's the producer. I'm not. So I just kind of feel like I'll speak up if I feel like there's something that I just cannot stand. But other than that, I really do like to trust the people on my team.
So basically, what you're saying then is that they don't change the lyrics of your songs. No producers come to you and said, "Hey, Tiffany, try singing it with this lyric."
No way. Yeah, we actually between me and my co-writers, I mean, there'll be times where I think I have more of a discussion about that in the room with other co-writers where maybe they'll write something and I'd be like, I just wouldn't say it that way. And I think that's when it's really beneficial to have the artist in the room. Like, I don't consider myself yet a songwriter. I call myself a co-writer because at the end of the day, a true songwriter can go into a room and write a song all by themselves. I don't think I'm there yet. I'm still a student and I'm still learning, but I love the direction that it's going.
If somebody came to you and said, Tiffany, you can only be a singer or a songwriter,
Mm,
what would your choice be?
a singer.
A singer. You'll stick with
It's
that.
where my heart started. I mean, since I was 4 or 5 years old, that's all I ever wanted to do. So it would be really inauthentic of me to just switch gears now and say songwriter.
Wow. 5 years old. I can't imagine what you'd be writing at five. You
I
have
wasn't writing the thing, but I was singing the national anthem of all things when I don't know. I got it from Leanne Rimes on a cassette tape, and from there I just knew that was it.
Well, that's a great person to emulate. Leanne
Absolutely.
Rimes has a great voice. Has it always been country music for you?
I think that early it's hard to really determine that because I was such a fan of Celine Dion that I think if you really were going to place me in a category, for me it was just the vocalist, because I actually think they're in a kind of a league of their own. Like there's people like Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, Adele, Barbara Streisand. They're like considered vocalists, right? And I guess if you're going to put them in a genre, I guess it would say pop. But for me, it was just, I knew I wanted to be a singer, a vocalist. It really was kind of later where I started hearing Jody Messina, Martina McBride, Faith Hill, and I was starting to recognize that there was a much more of a storytelling aspect in that music. And so then when I learned that that was technically country music, I was like, I like this because I think I can stand up on a stage and not have to do a dance routine, not have to do all these crazy outfit changes, and I can just tell a story. And that was something that I really gravitated towards. And then when I realized that that was basically country music, that's when I found my home.
Yeah, country. I don't think there's much pyro and fog machines and things
Not
like
really.
that. It's pretty raw and down to earth. Tiffany Woys is our guest, and the new project is I'm Your Woman. You said that you wrote the song "I'm Your Woman," I believe, about your 5-year romance and the end of it. And you've never. She said most people don't sing about these subjects. It's they sing about broken hearts and dead dogs and things like that. But in this case, you talked about getting so close to a wedding and having it blow up.
Yeah, that was really difficult. But it did inspire some amazing music. But I really, when I went to go write some of it, I did not think I was going to end up releasing it. And because we're kind of saturated in a market right now, and nothing against these people, but we're saturated in a market right now with a lot of divorce country. And I felt like, gosh, the story I feel like has been told. But then I was like, well, it hasn't been told from a broken engagement standpoint. And I also wanted to make sure that when I came to this space with something new to say, it wasn't, not saying that these people have, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't glorifying the idea of ending a marriage or anything like that. Like I really still respect that idea, and I still hope to have that one day. So I wanted to make sure when I came to the table with this, I was really thoughtful about what I was saying. The last thing he did was take the ring back. And I think that that was just like the last gut punch, right? Like, and not that I was going to wear the ring. Goodness gracious, I'm not.
Right,
But I was
right.
also, but I was thinking I could sell it and give the money back to my parents. And because that wasn't even going to remotely cover, I guess,
Right.
what the wedding
Or take
cost.
the diamond and make it into something else.
Something. And
Mhm.
I think it was his last way of kind of hurting me. And I was like, well, I want to write a song about that. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't about the ring. It's about taking back everything else. And I think when he took the ring back, why I was so upset was not because he took a diamond away. It was because that was solidifying the last of it. That was the
Right.
symbolization of my future, the trust, the promises, this romanticized thing that I had in my head of a family and all of these things that I was no longer going to have with him specifically.
Mhm.
So I just thought, and we just bought a house together, which I'm still in now. And which is interesting that I've made it my own. And I feel like when I turn the corner, I don't see him anymore, which is really helpful.
Mhm.
And that's where this song all came from. And the idea of it wasn't just a ring you took back.
Wow, wow, wow. And so, I mean, I'm sure I'm going to ask the question that a lot of people are thinking as they watch us speaking. What was the reason he gave you for breaking up after that length of time, that close to a wedding? Did
I
you get
still have
cold
a
feet?
lot.
Was it as simple as that, or?
I mean, I think there were some signs of that leading into it, and I decently ignored them.
Hmm.
And our first wedding date was actually canceled by Hurricane Ian. And it was interesting because God really did throw a lot of things in my way that
Mhm.
I kept saying this was a reason for us more to be together. And instead of it being a sign that
Mhm.
it's not right.
Right.
So I then we get to the next date, and right before is the 6 weeks before, he goes like, I'm just not going to do this. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And we went back and forth many times. And, but in the end, I really think it ended the way it was supposed to end. So I feel
Well, I feel
very,
bad for you. I feel very sorry that I mean, because, I was in tears watching The Bachelorette when, some guy, I don't know if you watched that show, but he had told her, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then in the end, the very end, that was the end of it. She picked him and, so it's,
yeah, I mean, for me too, the promise that's made is getting down on the one knee. No one thinks that when after they get down on one knee, then they'll change their mind. I would hope you would have done enough thought process before getting down on one knee. And also we had been dating already for 3 years. So that
oh, wow.
it's kind of like you would have already known. At that point, there's no secrets left anymore to each other. I mean, we were already living with each other. So it's like, you knew everything about me. There wasn't anything that was like a surprise, here I come. So I guess that's where I guess my confusion still lies. And, someone said something to me that really made a lot of sense to me. It was sometimes closure is not getting closure at all. And that really stuck with me because I kept on trying to need answers. I want answers. What happened? Like, why? Did you ever love me? What did I do wrong? This, whatever. And I thought, sometimes closure is just not getting it at all.
Right. And it doesn't have to be your fault. It's probably his problem, not your problem. Because you sound like a very positive, optimistic person. You were thinking about the future and making plans in your head and whatnot.
And maybe, again, maybe there's just obviously not maybe, this is true. There's probably a better fit for both of us now,
Right.
and it was just wasn't, because ultimately I'm still hurt. And even though it's been over a year, but I don't hate him. I want him to be happy. I want him to find that happiness, just as hope that he would want that for me. It's just, I think the way he went about it was pretty crappy.
Well, little advice, go for older men. That's the trick. Go for older men. They know what they want. They know what they don't want. And they're going to be more honest to you. Tiffany Woys is our guest, and you're going to do a song for us, right?
Yes.
What's the first song you're going to sing?
I think since we were just talking about this, let's do Took Back.
All right. Took Back. Here's Tiffany Woys on Border Crossings.
It's just a rock. It's just a shimmer on a hand you used to hold. Ain't it ironic how that little piece of gold once burned hot and now it's cold. Forever, for always, till death do us part. If it ain't working, we'll keep working, 'cause it's written in the stars. You made a promise, you would always get the best of all the love you had. So here's the thing, it ain't just a ring that you took back. It's just a house, it's just a bunch of boards and nails stood up around a long lost dream we used to swear could never fail. Well, now there's brand new locks, just one name on the mail. Forever, for always, till death do us part. If it ain't perfect, we'll keep working, 'cause it's written in the stars. You made a promise, you would always give the best of all the love you'd have. So here's the thing, it ain't just a ring that you took back. I can't believe I gave you every part, my time, my love, and worst of all, my heart. Forever, for always, till death do us part. If it ain't working, we'll keep working, 'cause it's written in then it ain't just a ring that you took back.
That was Tiffany Woys and Took Back, which is a single on her new EP. And Tiffany is speaking with us today here on Border Crossings. So is there a new guy in your life? Did you, it's been a year, so have you moved on and found a replacement?
Yeah. For lack of a better way of putting it, I guess. I am dating somebody again, and it's been really lovely. And the thing was, I think he was placed in my life for a reason. So my wedding was supposed to be in Charleston, South Carolina. And I loved it was like that was like mine and his place. And I was really nervous. I was never going to be able to go back there, that I was never going to be able to step foot in that town again. And then I end up by accident meeting somebody who lived there. Mm-hmm. And I didn't meet him there. I met him in Nashville. But that was weird because I thought he lived in Nashville, and it turns out he lived in Charleston, and we just clicked immediately. And it was almost like I was supposed to find a new reason to fall in love with Charleston all over again for a new purpose, and looking through a new set of lens. Mm-hmm. So it's been really, really nice. I mean, I feel like I've been taking it a little bit slower, just because I know I am still healing. I think that's something that I'm still doing, even though it's been a while. And I'm so lucky that I'm with somebody that understands that and lets me have, oh, there's my cat, lets me have those conversations with him openly. Mm-hmm. And I'm not afraid to share my feelings. And I think that's such the beauty of this new person, is that he's not intimidated by my emotions and my feelings, and that I still hurt every once in a while about this, because mm-hmm. I will say, I tell people that you can get over this, but it leaves a mark on you for, I think, ever. And that's something that the next person has to kind of take on. And that's not exactly for everybody, but that was another thing that when I wrote, the song, the self-titled track of I'm Your Woman, it was about knowing that, like, this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. And it's either for you or it's not for you. I'm either your woman or I'm not, but this is who I am. And my dad has always taught me to do, don't settle for anything, everyone is the main star of their own movie. So just go for it that way. And the song all started with the idea of a picture of my dad and I, and he's reading me like a princess fairy tale book. And the fact of that, I still believe in fairy tales. And I think that fairy tales just look different to everybody else, right? It doesn't have mm-hmm. to mean you're slaying the dragon and you live in a big castle. It could be the white picket fence, and just cooking in the kitchen on a Friday night. But it's just, I still believe in the fairy tale. Mm.
Well, that's great. You sound like a daddy's girl. I bet you he loves you and you love him. You have that special bond going on now. It's great that you get to sing songs that you have written.
Yes.
Have you written for other people?
No, not yet. I kind of still building up that. Well, first of all, the skill. And now, however, the songs that I have written that I'm not going to record, I would be very open to other people recording them. I think I'm not against that whatsoever. If someone fell in love with it, heck, I love that idea. That's great for me. But right now I'm kind of just writing for myself because I'm still kind of crafting the whole idea. And I will say what's really interesting is, since I was so stubborn about writing at first, I thought, I don't think people are going to like this music better than they've liked my other music. Turns out when you look at the numbers, and the numbers don't lie, this music has done better. And so now I do understand that people do connect more with things that they feel is authentic to somebody and is the truth. And so these songs that are coming strict from me and my heart and my real life experience is not that I'm just kind of playing a role and singing somebody else's words. They're doing better. And so I can't deny that. I mean, it's like, as much as I wanted to deny that, I can't.
Well, it's great that your cat made an appearance, because
I know
earlier in the interview, you might not have noticed, but that I saw a tail going by, and I was going to say, what's happening behind you? But
she's a camera hog. She really is.
Well, that's okay. I mean, so you're a childless cat lady, hey? Has been in the news a lot.
Oh, that's what they say, right? Yeah.
So what's the cat's name?
This one's Belle. I have two, Cinderella and Belle, big Disney. And I think last time we talked, were you wearing a Toy Story shirt?
Yes, I was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I remember
What a
we talked
memory.
lot about
Wow.
Disney. We talked a lot about Disney. I remember that. And I'm a big Disney fan. So my cats are two Disney princesses.
And that was your bio back then that I read. I recall it talking a lot about your love of Disney and how many times you've been there and whatnot. So you like the fairy tales and the fantasy land and the Disney princesses and all that.
I do, because I think it really does still exist. It just depends on how you look at it, right? And that's why I love going to Disney so much. And I don't know if it's maybe something I need to go to therapy for, but I like to go and forget the world, right? You get you literally go there and you forget all of your troubles, because the way Walt designed it is you can't even see the outside world. You don't even know that there is one. And there's something really cool about that. And I also just love, I mean, not to sound creepy, this might sound the way it's, but I really love watching it through the eyes of a child too. Like for the first time, they like light up, and I'm like, this is so special. Like, how can you not find this magical? Because to them, all of it is real. And there's something just so special about that I just love to relive over and over again.
Yes, Disneyland was a great place to be a child and to grow up, you know, in Disneyland, and taking my children there to Disneyland. Unfortunately, it took them young and they've forgotten that they went.
No.
Yes, they forgot. At least they have photos to prove that I'm not dreaming.
Yes.
But, Tiffany Woys, the new album is called I'm Your Woman. Are you going to do another song for us?
Let's do I'm Your Woman.
All right, great. Here's the title track, I'm Your Woman, on Border Crossings.
Storybook dreams, I don't need a white horse or a kiss from a prince, but I do want a dog and a white picket fence. The fairy tales, what you make it, it's not that complicated. If you want someone to be true to you and never do you wrong, if you want someone you can hold on to forever long, if you're someone wants that kind of someone, I'm your woman. Whoa. Make you laugh when you wanna cry. I'll drive your head first out of your mind. We'll learn together that the secret of life, just making it up as we go. Happy ever after is all that really matters. You want someone to be true to you and never do you wrong. If you want someone you can hold on to for forever long. If you're someone wants that kind of someone, I'm your woman. I'm your woman. The fairy tales, what you make it, it's not that complicated. You want someone to be true to you and never do you wrong. You want someone you can hold on to for forever long. If you're someone wants that kind of someone, well, I'm your woman. I'm your woman.
Border Crossings, I'm Your Woman is the name of the song and the EP. The singer is Tiffany Woys, and she's our guest today. It's great to have you with us. Now, you've had, I don't know, what is half a dozen songs already charting on the Billboard, country radio indicator charts. You've gotten all kinds of praise and accolades from a number of different periodicals, the Country Music Channel, you were Artist of the Week or someone to watch. So you've gotten all kinds of reviews and acclaim. And this is an exciting time for you. So how many CDs have you had out?
Oh my gosh. I think I've had 3 EPs and various singles in between them that I've kind of like just put into the algorithm of stuff that didn't end up going on necessarily an EP. But yeah, I got here in 2017 and I recorded, upwards of let's say each EP's had probably about 6 songs on it and a few various singles. Oh my goodness. I've recorded probably 30 songs.
Wow.
Something along those lines, maybe a little under. Give or take. But yeah, it's been wild. And I remember my very first single, I was so lucky. It's just because we were talking about Disney. I was so blessed that my first single was debuted with Radio Disney Country. And I know they closed that now, but that was really cool for me because I was like, wait a minute, that's really, and I think it got to number like 17 or 14, I don't know what number, but I was like, that was like a dream come true for me. So it was a pinch me moment. And it's one of those things where when you kind of get that little bit, you want to work towards the next thing and the next thing. And what I've realized over the years is while things have ebbed and flowed as it normally does with an artist, it made me learn to celebrate the smaller things along the way. And because some of those small things are things that certain people only dream of being able to do or have. And that's something that I'm like, gosh, I need to stop, trying to shoot for like the galaxy and realize that some of the smaller things in the sky are just as amazing. And that, my gosh, this is what all I dreamed of when I moved here was to do this. And I'm still doing it, which is really a great testament to the idea of how much I love it, is that I'm not done yet.
Right. And you moved there a few years ago, I think 5 or 6 years ago to, I guess, Nashville is where you're calling home.
Yeah, I moved here in 2017.
From Sacramento.
Sacramento.
So you're a California girl. How was the adjustment going to Nashville?
Easy peasy. I never felt at home in California. So it was one of those things when I was told I had to move here to make it happen. I was like, my bags were packed yesterday. I'll see you later. I came here. And in one weekend, I found a place to live. Like I immediately, my people luckily at home, so gracious of them, were packing up my apartment for me. So when I got back, I literally just bought my one-way ticket and left the next month.
Wow. And you have a very loyal legion of fans, who are very, very supportive of you. And do you have a name for your fans?
Oh, gosh, no.
No?
No, I haven't even thought of that, to be honest with you, because at the end of the day, I really think that because of social media and the way it's changed music so much, fans have almost turned into friends with people. So you have such a direct line with your haters and your fans, to be honest with you. So they're just right there. I think it was so different, say 20 years ago, right? Where we didn't have all this technology for people to just reach out to your favorite person. Now I can literally message anybody or anybody could message me. So it's almost like more of a friendship than it is a fandom, if you think about it like that.
Well, that's great. That's a great perspective to have. Now, I'm also very curious about, the fact you mentioned social media. Social media can be great and it can be very, very disturbing and painful. Yes. And because people hide behind their identities and say pretty mean stuff, the haters. So, how do you handle that?
Luckily, from a young age, I've had pretty thick skin, but regardless, there's no amount of thick skin. Sometimes you're human. Things are just going to get to you. I've read some comments recently, even after my last release that I'm going to perform, last for you guys. And it's just like, how do you feel that comfortable saying that to a complete stranger? However, I'm not somebody that writes back. It's just, I think it's more of a reflection of somebody else than it is you. And I really try hard not to think about it too much. And luckily, I'm really not big enough to where I'm infiltrated with too much. But I can only imagine with the small amount that I do receive, I really have a lot of empathy for like much bigger acts and artists where they have to like literally say, hey, I have to turn my phone off for a week or something. And I need to just take a cleanse of that because that's just too much. And I think about it now and I go, yeah, I could see how that could happen. I really just do my best though to kind of make it a more of like, it's a them thing. It's not a you thing.
Exactly.
And the more you can remind yourself of that, I think the better it is you feel. Like they can change your own opinion of you. Like that's scary because that can happen quite a bit. I could be really proud of something that I've done and I put out, and then all of a sudden I can get a few comments and I go, well, wait, was it even that good? Or did that look bad on me? Or what did that? And I go, oh my gosh, stop it, stop. Like it's just not worth it. So
And it's
I really do my best to just try and kind of
separate
laugh at
from
it
it.
more than
Yeah.
anything. Laugh at it.
Yeah. And it's good that you don't write back, because that kind of validates what they are trying to do, which is get under your skin. So it's a good thing, that you don't respond to those kinds of messages. And I'm sure you don't get many because you're a very talented young lady.
Oh,
You
thank
mentioned you're not that big. Well, what has been the biggest moment in your career to this day?
Probably singing the national anthem for the first televised event back to TV that was live, and that was at a NASCAR event. And I really think that was, first of all, it was a very full circle moment for me. I started singing the national anthem, and then to have the first televised big thing back to TV where everything was live was a really big deal. And I think the viewership was like out of control. Like it was very, very large. And obviously the NASCAR world is very big. And I think in the stadium, in the people, there was 80,000 people there. And I just remember that being just mind blowing to me, and a very big moment, a very humbling moment, a very like, wow, and I got to do it in California, which was really cool, in Northern California, in Sonoma. So I was like, I got to go home. And I think it was also cool, right when I got off the stage, Adam Devine from Workaholics and a bunch of other, he was there, and he was doing the countdown to the race. And I got off and he said, that's a really hard song to sing and you did a really good job, like congratulations. And that was like a really cool moment. I was like, gosh, that's cool. Like
That's
so
nice.
I would say that's probably the biggest thing.
Was it hard? Because I hear from singers who perform the national anthem in stadium venues when there's a delay because of the speakers.
Yeah, I had in-ears, so luckily I just focused on me. But I will say the hardest part is the older you get, the more you take that song seriously, because it's just really detrimental to mess it up. So I think I talked myself getting into being just nervous, even though I've sang it hundreds of times. I get nervous every time because there's a lot of weight in that song, and that gets me more nervous than anything.
I think the pressure of forgetting the lyrics would be overwhelming to me. I don't think I could do it because I would be afraid of, the spotlight's on me and I forgot the words to the national anthem.
It's funny. It's right when the first things come out of your mouth, the stress goes away a little bit. But I will say, leading up to doing that song, it's not like this with any other of my music, but with that song, I'm like, everyone don't talk to me, don't look at me. Like I have to be like in the zone because I emotionally freak out, which I think I really just do it to myself, honestly. But it's one of those things where I just like have to get into a zone, or I'm scared I'm not going to say the right words that are going to come out. And instead, I think I'm going to accidentally say twinkle, twinkle, little star. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth if I don't like block everybody out.
Do you have any rituals or things that you do before you go on stage? Are you a person who is superstitious and you always do something?
No, if anything, I just say like a little prayer to myself. Just to have a good show, and that it's okay to not be perfect, but hopefully, like God will be with me on the stage and kind of guide me and help me through. And even if there is a hiccup, I'll get through it. And I will say there was a lot of, I performed a lot growing up. So I had a lot of practice with bad shows and things that go wrong and all of the things. I've had my outfit come undone. I've broken a shoe. I've done it all. So I kind of feel like that's helped me a lot leading into a show now, on that, how to collect yourself if something goes wrong. But I will say any ritual I have is just kind of having a little prayer with myself and God.
Okay, so if you're a spiritual, religious person, as I see from your pendant and hear from what you're saying a prayer before you go on, have you thought about Christmas songs?
I did. So now this wasn't a religious Christmas song, but I did record, I think 2 or 3 years ago, the Where Are You Christmas, Faith Hill. And First of all, I think it's one of my favorite songs because she's just so amazing. And I was like, I really wanted to see if I could do it. I love to challenge myself. It's a very vocally hard song. I think it skips octaves like crazy. And I remember being like, I really want to challenge myself. So I went in and I did that song. And I've never thought about doing another Christmas song, but I would love to. Christmas is my favorite holiday. So any reason to have to do that. But I do know in the sense of in the music world, I would have already had to record it. As odd as that is, like you have to do things pretty early on to get things in the algorithm and the system with releasing music. So I'm past the point of being able to do one this year, but I would consider doing another one because it was a lot of fun.
What's number one on your list to Santa for this Christmas? And
number one.
and what does Tiffany usually do on Christmas?
It's definitely going back home. I love spending time with my family. I'm a brand new aunt, first time aunt.
Congratulations.
So yeah, I have a little niece and she's literally perfect. I think she's only a little over 2 months old now. So I want to be home for that. Like I cannot, now it's not even about us anymore. It's like, how can we, oh my gosh, make all over her. So I'm very excited to go home and spend it. I have a pretty small family. It's just my mom, my dad, my sister, and now her husband. And so I'm just excited to go home and be with, my niece and my family. On my Christmas list though, gosh, it's crazy. As adults now, it's weird. It's like if you want something and you can afford it or you want it, you kind of just buy it for yourself. So that part is usually hard. I like being gifted experiences more than anything. I love being able to create a memory with somebody. And that's what I like to gift people now too, whether that's a weekend getaway, whether that's a concert, whether that's a dinner, it doesn't matter. I like to do something where I can spend time with somebody and create more of a memory or have a good meal or do something along those lines. I'm kind of over the whole just regular gift you unpackage because it's just, I have so much stuff. I don't need any more stuff,
Oh yeah, we all collect stuff. Too much, in fact.
Yeah.
Tiffany Woys is our guest now. In the subject area of gifts and giving and Christmas and whatnot. Do you have tour plans that you're going to perform over the holidays or no?
No, I don't actually. The only thing I have planned for the holidays is more personal, and it's my bucket list dream trip, and I'm going to Switzerland for New Year's Eve.
Oh wow.
It's always been my dream. It was actually supposed to be my honeymoon, part of my honeymoon. And I have canceled it multiple times. And I finally realized I just want to go on it. I want to go and I want to see the Christmas markets. I want to do that. But I really do hope in the new year, I will start performing more and going on the road. I know I've done a lot of writers rounds now that I'm a songwriter and I can participate in those things, which is lovely. But I like to be able to stand up with a microphone and move. And at these writers' rounds, you're sitting, with a guitar, and you're just kind of, it's very downplayed, which is wonderful and has its benefits. But I really like to move and entertain. And I have really yet to be able to do that again. And that's something that I'm craving to do much. So I hope I have better news for you next time I talk to you. And hopefully I'll be going on tour or something.
Yeah, Tiffany Woys is with us today. And you said bucket list. So a question came to my mind, I always ask the guests, and I probably asked you back in 2019, 2020, is if you could collaborate with any singer on the planet, 3 singers, either deceased or alive.
Oh, okay.
So that'll widen your choice, but who would
sure
you like
does.
it to be?
Okay, so alive, I would really enjoy either Rascal Flatts or Keith Urban. Those are like my 2 that I like gravitate towards completely. Now, I will say on the pop side, I would still love to just, even if she ripped me to shreds, which she would, I would still love to just share a stage with Celine Dion. I don't know what I could do, maybe with a tambourine or something behind her. I don't think she necessarily needs me, but to share a stage would be just absolutely breathtaking. But for actually deceased, it's funny, again, our music doesn't match at all, but he's literally one of my biggest inspirations and will always be is Michael Jackson. There is no comparison with any of my music with these people, but to share a stage and to collaborate with someone who is like that genius, it would have been amazing just to be in the room to see how someone like that works and how their brain works. And I've always just been very mesmerized with how his work ethic was and just all of it. It was just something, but in a realistic standpoint, I would love to have do a song with Keith Urban or Rascal Flatts. I know they're coming back for a tour, so
Oh,
would
Rascal
love. I
Flatts are
mean,
getting back together? Oh, that would be
yeah,
great.
for I think it's the farewell tour. They never were able to go on because of 2020.
Right. I think the lead singer released a single on his own.
Gary's released quite a bit of stuff, I think, and a lot of Christian stuff, a lot of gospel.
Right. Tiffany Woys is our guest. And before you go, would you do another song?
Yes, I would love to end this with my new song that just came out, American Dreamer. It's really means a lot to me. And the message is so much bigger than me. And in a time in a world where we're at right now, and I think it's a very unifying message and obviously timely, you know. So I'm very, very proud of this song. I think my most proud. So I would love to do American Dreamer.
Well, that would be great. And when this interview airs, it will be probably after the election. So who knows what world we'll be waking up to. But we're going to still dream, American Dreamer. Here's Tiffany Woys on Border Crossings.
Just a little more grace would do us good. I believe there's no place better than the place we're living. So I believe old Lord should fly in every neighborhood. This is still the land of the free. Sometimes I wonder why we keep trying to tear it apart. Don't bow what they're selling on the news. This is still the land of the free. Sometimes I wonder why we keep trying to tear it apart. We're only breaking their heart while it's still mine and still yours. It's still worth standing up for. I'm still one nation under God believer. This is still the land of the free. Sometimes I wonder why we keep trying to tear it apart. We're only breaking her heart while it's still mine and still yours. It's still worth standing up for. I'm still one nation under God believer. I'm still one nation under God believer.
Border Crossings, American Dreamer. It's Tiffany Woys who is with us today. I'm Your Woman is the name of the new EP that is now available. And so, you know, as we say goodbye here, I did want to ask one more question. You talk about memories, and that's something that you like to make memories as a great gift idea, as experiences and memories. Do you have a memory that's associated with a song? Because a lot of times people remember a song on the radio when they had their first kiss or their first
Yeah.
dance or something like that, or you're sitting in a diner on your first date with somebody in
Yeah.
high school.
Of course. Actually, one that comes to mind very vividly is when I decided how much I loved country music. And I was in the car, seventh grade, with my friend, and we had just gotten out of seeing the movie Eight Crazy Nights, the Adam Sandler cartoon
Yes,
movie.
about
And,
Hanukkah.
and These Days came on the radio. And when I heard Gary's voice, it literally stopped me in my tracks. And I was in seventh grade, and I thought, oh my gosh, like I always knew I liked country music, but this is something that's so much, I don't know. It really, really took me back. And I fell in love with all of Rascal Flatts. And another thing I loved about them was that they spoke so much of their faith in their music that it was almost like they were like a worship band, but also a country pop band. And I just absolutely fell in love with them. It made me just really latch on. And ever since I've started, I still have my own podcast now where I interview songwriters, and I've been able to interview Jeffrey Steele, who wrote that song. And that was such a huge moment for me because I got to tell him, like, this is a huge reason for why I'm even here is songs you have specifically written. So that's my memory.
And if people want to find your podcast, where do they go? They want to find you on social media, where do they go?
Yeah. So basically, podcast is anywhere you can listen to podcasts to stream it. And this podcast is called What's Mine Is Yours.
What's Mine Is Yours.
And it's, yes, on Spotify, on the Apple app for podcasts. So, and it's also videoed now, so you can find it on YouTube and you can watch the whole thing that way if you prefer a video. And for me, just on social media, I'm everywhere. Tiffany Woys, no matter what app, search Tiffany Woys, you'll find me. And I'm pretty sure I'm the only Tiffany Woys, so that will help.
And you don't always respond. So people who are listening that might want to write her, write something nice and sweet, and maybe she'll write you back. Maybe not.
Well, sometimes those, have you noticed though, on some of those messages, they go into a separate file now, or they just go into a different, I went into that file the other day and I found like 40 messages that I was like, and it's been for a long time. I go, well, I don't know what to say now.
Well, before you go, I want to give you a chance to say a message, if you would, to the worldwide audience, which includes the troops. And I'm sure this will be right around the holiday season right now.
Oh, well, then I hope you guys have a blessed holiday. I am so grateful to have this platform to speak here and to acknowledge and to honor all of you. And this is exactly even why I wrote American Dreamer. It was a message that wanted to say, to be more unified in a world where it feels like we are far more divided than we are unified. I think that we could express a lot more love and a lot less hate. And I don't think that should come, honestly, easy in our human nature. So I hope that we can all find time, especially around the holidays, to show that we are far more alike than we are different. And that if we can just find that commonality, that we all struggle, we all hurt, we all laugh, we all cry, we are all happy. And then I hope that we can just find a little bit more light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm wishing you all a wonderful holiday. And I am bless you.
Well, thank you, Tiffany Woys, for joining us. And we have never been this divided. So hopefully your music and your words can help to bring us together. And hopefully we'll be in a better place not too far from now. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's great to have you again. And don't be a stranger. Come back and join us again. Tiffany Woys is our guest. I'm Your Woman is the name of the new EP. My name is Larry London, and you are watching Border Crossings on VOA TV.